And now it's time for another episode of Agriculture in East Texas, brought to you by Shelby Savings Bank. This time we visited the K.L. Barton Ranch in Garrison, Texas. While there, we visited with Mr. Lane Barton and his sons.
Grandfather founded the ranch and in the early 1940s, I believe, purchased a 50-acre tract of land right where we are. And so it was founded at that point in time and expanded from that through the generations to where we are presently.
Now, it originally started off as a dairy farm.
Yes, a dairy was incorporated here somewhere soon after the purchase of the property and operated here until the early 1960s.
And after that, you moved into being a beef farm. That's
right. Converted, I guess you'd say, from dairy to beef, and timber land as well has been accumulated. He added to the properties and during his lifetime, and then that next generation, which included his sons, my uncle and my father, expanded and added acreage into the agriculture operation as well.
I loaded up in a truck with his sons, Bradley and Cameron Barton, and they gave me a tour of their ranch, and I got to see some of their cattle.
Well, our idea and kind of our vision for it is with our cattle and owning the animals we do, being able to raise them the way we do on our own land, having control of what those animals intake. Our beef sales and the meat sales that we actually make, our vision is that we can provide an animal, no antibiotics, no hormones, that we can actually show the customer not only where the animal comes from, but what's in the meat, that the meat can be analyzed. Right now our processing plant has a USDA certified person on staff that's able to verify and provide a stamp of approval by the USDA that this is a choice meat that's already been checked, verified, allow us to present to the customer meat that they know where it comes from, they know what's in it, and they know exactly what's on their plate each time they eat it. And that's kind of our vision and goal for our meat sales.
So most of these cattle are going to be geared towards our beef program, and they're all consistently fed a corn-based ration, and they hardly ever see the bottom of the trough because as a cow they're grazers, so you never want them to stop eating. That's how they do better. They're more efficient with their feed intake and feed consumption. They gain better that way. So you always want to have them full on feed. So that's our program with these, and hopefully they'll be on your plate as a steak one day.
So unlike the conventional raising of our cattle on a corn-based ration, we also have a grass-fed program, and they're either on grass or fed silage, and it's all a grass-based ration. It's all grass, so that's a different part of our market. Hopefully we'll hit a different market with that grass-fed beef, and it's also for you know, those people that are even more concerned with, hey, where does my beef come from? What do I want my meat to look like? What's in that meat? So we're trying to hit, you know, every sector of every market that we can find for a consumer.
Began chicken farming in the late 80s, 1989, and built a chicken farm at that point in time, and expanded into a second farm on the location, this property, in the late 80s, late 90s, excuse me. And so we do have two locations with chicken houses on them presently.
And around how many chicken houses do you have?
10.
And how many birds is that per house?
Currently the capacity is, I believe it's 15,600 per house.
The Barton brothers also took me out to some of their chicken houses, and Bradley told me more about their feed silos.
Yeah, these are actually feed bins that through pilgrims, they'll actually bring out the feed that house the chickens. We're able to feed about 16,000 chickens per house. So we go through lots of feed. Feed bins are constantly reloaded. But on this 6-house farm, it usually takes 4 to 5 batches a year that we're able to grow about 16,000 birds a house. So a lot of chickens are run through this area in a short period of time.
We turn over typically neighborhood of 2,500 head. We keep on hand a cow herd that we raise calves out of, and 700 to 800 head, and then we'll buy and sell calves as well, and so total as much as 2,500 head. Mainly our cattle are sold off of our properties here directly to a feed yard, which would be typically located in the Texas Panhandle or southern western Kansas area. We have some feed yards that we can sell to and provide them with what they need to place on feed for the finishing process. We have also begun a meat business, and what we do is we actually own the cattle ourselves, and we will grain finish a certain percentage of our cattle and have them locally processed and market them locally mostly, but we are attempting to build this business from a cattle business into a meat business, beef business, and I just feel that in order to sustain the coming generations on the farm, that's something we would enjoy doing, and hopefully add some sustainability and profitability to the operation. So we have that venture that we're working with currently, and trying to build that into a viable business.
The Barton brothers also took me out to see one of their ponds that was built specifically to water cattle.
This pond, along with several of the others, were made just for the purpose of being able to provide a water source for these cattle. As you can see, the cattle here generally during the day are going to visit pretty often. Not only is it important for the cattle to get well nutrition from the grass, but also to provide an adequate water source for them. So that's kind of what we have throughout our ranch here.
And tell us a little bit about the cattle behind you. You said these are going to the slaughterhouse?
Yes, sir. So the cattle here can go one of 2 ways. We'll analyze each calf come weaning time off of their mama, and they'll either go to the conventional feeding program of mostly corn, and or they'll go to the second route, which will be the grass-fed program. That'll be strictly off of our analyzing what they look like when we wean them and how they've done out here, and where we'll take them from here and what's best for their environment next.
So what has agriculture meant for you as a way of life and for your family?
It's really been a blessing. Been able to live here in close to the same location all of my life, and had opportunity to work with family, making a living from the land and the resources provided, and currently being able to work with my sons and have them to make their livings as well from the resources on the land and what the land provides, and so the generational opportunities from the land resources I consider a blessing, and hopefully that blessing continues through my life and possibly into the next generations of the Barton family, hopefully, if that's what they feel led to do.
Agriculture in East Texas is brought to you by Shelby Savings Bank.
CBC-radio.com, keeping you connected wherever you go.